Welcome to all the students of S5 BCom. I, Assistant Professor Pooja Singh, will be teaching you the subject Elements of Company Law. The code for the subject is 235. So in this lecture, we will see the syllabus of your Elements of Company Law subject for the semester 3. Before going to the syllabus, we will see the objectives of this subject. So let us start with the objectives of the subject. The first objective is to develop general awareness of elements of company law among the students. Means you should have a general awareness about the law which is prevailing in the country for the working of the various business which are established in our country. Now second comes to understand the Companies Act 2013 and its provisions. If you all know, the previous act was the Companies Act 1956, which was reformed, and the new act came, that is Companies Act 2013. So in this syllabus, in our new syllabus, we will study the Companies Act 2013 and its provisions. The third objective is to have a comprehensive understanding about the existing law on formation of new company in India. Means you should have a knowledge about the law which are prevailing in a country if a particular person wants to form a new company in India. So that will also we will see in our subject called Elements of Company Law. Your fourth objective is to create awareness among the students about legal environment relating to the company law. Your fifth objective is to acquaint the students on e-commerce, e-governance and e-filing mechanism relating to companies. So what are the documents which can be filled online, or what are the facilities which are provided under the Companies Act 2013 to do the work on electronic mode? That will also we will see in our subject. And the sixth objective is to enhance the capacity of learners to seek career opportunity in corporate sector. Means what are the career opportunity a person can get in the corporate sector in the field of law. So these are your 6 objectives of the subject. Now we will start with the syllabus of a subject. The first chapter is the Companies Act 2013 Introduction and Concept. First we will see in this the introduction. In that we will cover historical background of company law in India. How the company law has established in India and what was the history behind it. So we will see in that. The second comes applicability of the Company Act 2013. On what type of companies does the Company Act 2013 is applicable. And the third, features of the Companies Act 2013. So what are the additional features which has been given in this act, which was not there in the previous act, that is the Companies Act 1956. Further, we will see the meaning and definitions of the company. What do you mean by the word company, or what are the definitions of the company? Then we will move on to the features of the company. What are the various types of features of the company, various features of the company like perpetual succession, common seal, separate identity. So this all thing we will see in the features of the company. Then next we will move on to the advantages and disadvantages of a joint stock company. Further we will see the types of company. So there are various types of company on the basis of membership, control, on the basis of liability, formation and the other types of companies. So if you see on the basis of membership, you will see public company, private company and one-person company. On the basis of control, you can see holding and subsidiary companies. Then we will see the difference between the private and a public company. So what are the privileges or what are the basic differences are there between a private and a public company. Then types of company on the basis of liability, that is company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee and unlimited companies. Then we will come to see the types of companies on the basis of formation, that is statutory and registered companies. And then the other types of companies. Other types of companies include your dormant companies, small company, sick company, charitable company, list company, etc. So these all types we will see in detail when we start our first chapter. Now your second chapter is based on formation and incorporation of a company. So what are the stages which are involved in the formation and incorporation of a company? The first stage is your promotion. Your promotion, in this we will see its meaning, that is the meaning of the term promoter or promoter group. In that we will see the legal position of promoters and pre-incorporation contracts. Your second stage comes registration or incorporation of a company. In that we will see the procedure and the documents which are to be filed with the ROC. ROC here means the Registrar of Companies. Further, we will see the certificate of incorporation and what are the effects of certificate of registration. Okay. Now your third stage comes capital subscription or raising of capital, the ways through which the capital can be raised by the company. And the fourth, commencement of business. Once all these stages are passed, then a company can operate its activities. So in this chapter, we will see the formation stages of a company. Okay. Now your third chapter is based on principal documents. What are the three important principal documents which are to be filed with the ROC? Your first is your Memorandum of Association. In Memorandum of Association, we will see its meaning and importance. Further, form and contents and alteration of memorandum. Alteration of memorandum means what are the changes which can be made in the memorandum. The second principal document is Articles of Association. In that we will see its meaning, contents and form of articles, alteration of articles, that the changes which can be made in the articles, and doctrine of constructive notice and doctrine of indoor management. These all things we will see in the second principal document, that is Articles of Association. And your third most important principal document is Prospectus. In this we will cover its meaning, contents, statutory requirements in relation to prospectus, deemed prospectus, shelf prospectus, statement in lieu of prospectus, misstatement in a prospectus, and liabilities for misstatement. So these are the things which are included in the prospectus. So first is Memorandum of Association, Articles of Association, and the prospectus. These are the three main principal documents which are required for the incorporation and raising of capital. Okay. Now fourth and the last chapter is your capital of the company. In this we will see the capital of the company, which comprises of various modes for raising of share capital, which will include private placement, public issue, right issue, bonus share, ESOS means employee stock option scheme, sweat equity shares, buyback of shares. The second point which we will cover in this chapter is allotment of shares. In this we will see meaning, statutory provisions for allotment, what do you mean by improper and irregular allotment, and what are the consequences of irregular allotment. Next we will move on to the third part, that is calls on shares. In this we will see its meaning, requisites of a valid call, what is calls in advance, and what is share certificate. In this we will cover up its meaning, provisions regarding issue of share certificates, and what are the cases in which the duplicate share certificate can be issued. Now the fourth part of your chapter comes is share capital. In this we will see its meaning, structure, that is kinds, then concept of securities, definition, nature, and kinds of shares. So these 4 points will be included in your chapter 4, that is capital of the company. So this was the syllabus for your semester 3, and your semester 3 will comprise of total of 3 credits. So your subject will give you this 3 credits. Okay. Till now, thank you, and from the next lecture we will start the first chapter.